Hey everybody, I'm Ross Johnson. You're listening to WAYO 104.3 FM Rochester. Coming up next on the Sound of Tomorrow show, we're talking COVID. We're talking vaccination stuff related to COVID. Because really, who doesn't want to hear more about COVID? It's the thing. It's the news you want. It's the information about COVID. Nobody's talking about it. So leave it to us. And we got some. We're going to talk about RuPaul. And we got some other kind of random junk. That's how we do. Next on the Sound of Tomorrow. But first.
Ooh, a klaxon. Lemnisket, what now? Oh, a confy sesh with Ross. What could it be? Lemnisket, please take me to the confy sesh with Ross. Ross is one of the wild cards in this game. I think I might be able to trust him. Oh, he's typing. But I'm not sure he really is who he says he is. I'll need to be careful with this confy sesh. So sorry. Tech issues. I'll be in soon. Ross, what are you planning? Lemnisket. Response. Ross, my mister from another sister. How's it hanging, pally doll? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, question mark, hard eyes, smiling cat, squirrel emoji, snowman, bathtub. Deliver, please. My strategy is to be as genuine as possible and let people get to know the real me. So far, I think it's working. Charmin and Wendella are my hashtag true girls for life. We have each other's backs. And I think we can get Sarah on our side too. Coco, I'm not sure of her. I've got to keep my eye on that one. Same as Ross. Oh, he got my response and he's typing. All right, come on now, bring it, Ross. What are you talking about? I can hear you, but I can't get my mic connected. Might need to restart. Ugh. Well, Ross, you certainly are a cheeky one. This confy sesh just got confiplicated. No? That wasn't good? I thought it was good. Lemnisket, response. Cheerio, daddy-o on the patio with the lingo. Max chillin', got my zen on in the yoga room, peace sign hand. How are you feeling? Wink, wink, cup of tea, zebra, ambulance. Oh, that's perfect. Deliver. I do like Ross. I do. Or I think I do. But what's his motive in starting this confy sesh? Does he want to form an alliance? I might consider it. But after what went down in game night where he knew all the answers in Trivia Twister, I think he might just be a player of Trivia Twister as well as other reindeer games, you know? Hashtag reindeer games. Oh, another message. How chatty, Mr. Ross. Chatty indeed. Seriously, are you okay? Did you hit your head? Almost got it here, I hope. Aww. He asked how I am, but he never said how he was feeling. I think he's hiding something. Maybe he's trying to mine information from me. Lemnisket, response. Quacky, quacky lover. 3 R's, please. Hashtag stacks of slacks. Pink bow, magic 8-ball, money tongue, robot, croissant. Good. Oh, that's very good.
I am so sorry that took forever. Oh my gosh. I have no idea why I couldn't connect. Sorry.
Oh,
hi.
Ross, you're here. Hi.
So what the hell have you been talking / texting me about? I didn't.
I'm so excited. I was practicing for our brand new sound.
Okay, no, that does not help me make sense of anything you were doing nor saying. Yeah.
Okay, so I had this idea. In these pandemic times, people have been doing so much communication via text and social media. Wouldn't it be fun to have a reality show where people can only text, no video calls, no in-person meetups, and like people will get, shunned by the grouper named as hot shots. You get to call the hot shots. And with it being only texting, people can either be themselves or pretend to be somebody else and be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Hashtag another great idea from me. Am I right?
Okay, Heather.
I still got the goods. No, I know. I was just pretending I was on that show, The Circle, where they already do all that stuff. Well, I was waiting for
really
you to get on the call.
Your trash TV. That I do.
Hashtag you know your Heather. Lemnisket, please play the theme.
That's the theme playing. Hey everybody, I'm Ross Johnson, your favorite co-host.
That was pretty good.
Welcome back, everyone, to an all-new sound of tomorrow.
Right here on WAOIO 104.3
I even set that up with you so
Ross,
you could rhyme it.
I can't speak. I've lost the ability to speak. I couldn't do it. My brain, we're on video right now. Did you see the sparks like coming out of my temples?
I didn't see. I literally saw nothing going on in your head.
Yeah.
Which is pretty normal. No.
Really? There's sparks.
Just a wet.
Stop.
Just wet Tinder. Just.
You've got to be nice to me.
Heather. I don't know where to start. So today, this is a hodgepodgey sort of show. I stayed up to. You want to know what my story is? Oh, you know what? No, let's do something different. Let's go in a different way. Quick. Here we go.
I want to know.
Zoom. Refocus. I heard a rumor that you got your second COVID
what did you
vaccine.
Hear? And I heard a rumor that you did as well. I might have heard it on this very program.
No, it's not lies. Yeah.
It's not lies. I did. I went last week, and we've been, telling people how we've been reacting toward our COVID jabs. And I had one of those, and I've talked to a lot of people who've had kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I had side effects. I was tired, but I'm always tired. And I was achy, but also I really am watching The Circle. And I'm too into that program. This is not
on
good.
Netflix?
But so the night I got my vaccine.
Do you have Netflix?
I
guess you do. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like
yes. Yes.
I don't always. How do I put this? I don't know. I don't always feel. I don't always feel like you're.
What do you think I don't have?
I feel like I guess Netflix is not like a super trendy, hip, new, cool kid thing. So it's fine. So I guess it's not unreasonable that you would have Netflix.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm allowed to
have TikTok. Is what
I'm allowed to have Netflix. People the age of.
Do you? You never do TikTok.
I do have TikTok. But yeah. I don't do TikTok. I had to get TikTok because there was this wonderful, wonderful young man who brought so much joy to my world by doing Jack and Diane by John Cougar Mellencamp. Longtime listeners of the show will know my feelings on John Cougar Mellencamp. But he did all the lyrics as Sucking on a Chili Dog. Yeah, it was great. And I had to get TikTok so that I could download that video. It brought me so much joy.
Good for you.
But so the night of my second vaccine, I watched two episodes of The Circle while I was working out. And so the next day I was a little bit sore, but I also worked out for almost 2 hours. So was it the jab?
Plus we almost went 2 episodes without you talking about how you only watch TV when you're working out. So I got... I don't know. See, I got mine. I'm not going to because if you don't stop, I'm not going to stop. I don't know either. And I don't think I really did because I got mine and then local people might recall if you're listening to this live-ish that it snowed for like 3 days last week and it was like 20 degrees and it snowed. So I got my shot.
Yes.
And then the next day it snowed and was like 20 degrees for 3 days. So I was like, oh my God, I'm tired and achy and cold and I've got the chills, but it was literally 20 degrees. So I don't have any context for anything that actually, I literally think I had no side effects, but I felt awful, but I think I would have felt awful anyway.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. I do also, I remember that feeling. I was sitting at my desk and I got really cold and I was like, oh, do I
I
have the
know.
chills or is it just snowing?
I know. And
Like,
I was so conscious of it. I kept sitting there like, oh,
it could
here
be
it
either.
comes. I gotta chill. It's like, no, it's 20. It's 20 degrees.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because then I think I went and put on another hoodie and I was fine. The chills did not continue.
The
I
point of
think I
all
was
this
just
is
cold.
get freaking vaccinated, please. Everybody, listen. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your mom.
Yeah,
But
because we're,
and
no, we're just a bunch of lousy podcasters. But another thing we are,
we're pretty big crybabies.
I think we're
Yeah,
crybabies, aren't
I would
we?
tell you. I would tell you.
And so if if we got these jabs and we're like, yeah, I don't think I had any.
Yeah.
I mean, people who've listened to this show, they know how much we
literally our
whine.
whole thing.
So if we could do it,
Yeah.
and not suffer anything
I mean,
that made us whine.
the thing is, I don't know if
Pretty
there's a
easy.
percentage of people who have side effects, or I think that's hard to quantify because there are so many different types of potential side effect or different degrees of potential side effects, I guess. So I don't even know how you'd quantify like how easily it would be to quantify
Mhm.
that. But I just had a little burp. Excuse me. Excuse me, everyone. We're doing this from home and just anything goes.
Oh my goodness.
So, but even if I had the worst of the possible side effects, I would still be perfectly content to have done that because it's a good. So I guess, and I don't
Me
have
too.
statistics on this. I know I've been reading. We're sort of reaching the point. The United States has made tremendous strides, and I've got an example of a specific group that has made really impressive strides in terms of vaccination. But I guess we're reaching that wall of we've done so well. Actually, we're so ahead of schedule in terms of vaccinating people that we're starting to hit that wall of people who are just like, I don't want to get vaccinated. And here's what I think about that. I'm sure you have a conscientious and thoughtful reason for not wanting to get vaccinated. I'm not talking about the very small portion of people. Don't send me email. Like if you're among the very minusculely statistically almost non-existent proportion of people who medically can't get this vaccine, then I'm not talking about you. So don't, if you feel like you need to comment on that, then remember my name is Heather Zykowski. Z Y Kowski. So just send that to me. Heather Z. Right. But
yeah, that'll go somewhere.
So here's the problem. It's not, and we've said this all along, and I don't know to what extent we've learned this over the past year. This is not any single person problem. It's not something that any single person can fix. Fixing it for yourself, fixing it for yourself doesn't help you if your neighbors and your family aren't also doing their part, which is why I'm glad to see that the United States is doing more to help out India, which is struggling lately in terms of vaccination, because again, it's a global problem. Unless we're going to shut down all the borders, turn off all the trade, not buy anything from anywhere else, not invite tourists, not travel anywhere ourselves. Even then, it's this, there are still contiguous land board. I mean, this is a global problem. COVID anywhere is a problem everywhere. And it will be very quickly in the world that we live in and want to continue living in. I mean, I don't want to live in a world where I can't leave my town or my house because the next town over might be a COVID den, but
right.
In the case of not getting, what they're finding, the COVID vaccine has been very effective against the variants that are cropping up, but everyone who's not getting vaccinated and everyone who's delaying getting vaccinated, the longer you're not vaccinated, the more you're sort of a target for these COVID variants, the more chance there is that these these COVID variants are going to develop, and the more potential for that, the greater the possibility that we could run into a COVID variant that is not going to respond to these vaccines. We haven't seen that yet, thank goodness. But it's the kind of thing where you kill it till it's dead, because if it starts getting out, it's like what we all know about antibiotics, at least in the broad strokes. And I know that, I know it gets more complicated than this with antibiotics, but it's why they say, like, finish your antibiotics, because you don't want the thing that you have to sort of have a chance to develop, mutate, get to somebody else and do something else. You want to kill it dead and get it gone. And that's what the goal is with COVID. If there's a little, a little bit of COVID can be out there, and it can still be enough that we've sort of solved the problem. But much more than a little bit, and suddenly we've got, a whole new pandemic in another year or two. Potentially. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. But when we have populations in the United States that are 40-50% refusing to get vaccinated, then we're in a position where statistically, scientifically, not enough people have been vaccinated to get rid of COVID. So we're in the same boat for, the immediate future. And again, not to be super negative about it, because again, we've done really well in getting vaccinated. I mean, we've passed the point of 3 million people globally dying from this thing. So how much further do we want to go? How many more deaths are acceptable? Because I don't feel like going to get a shot. It's the kind of thing where everybody's got to pull, most people, not even everybody, but most people have to be pulling in the same direction to get a positive result. Otherwise, the only way it ends, is the way that pandemics in the past have ended, with, 20, 30, 40, 50% of any given population dead. I mean, that's where something like this could potentially go.
Right.
I don't think we're at that point, and I'm not trying to be overly dramatic about it, but that's sort of the that's a possible scenario. That's the extreme case, but even the less extreme, like it's still kind of bad case, is really bad. So, go get a shot. It's free.
Right.
Sometimes they have stickers.
Yeah. Plus, also, if you get, if not, they give you a cool Band-Aid. That was my thing. I didn't get a sticker, so instead I took pictures of my cool Band-Aid because I was pretty happy to have it. And if you get vaccinated, you can do things like, I read this on NPR today. Over the summer, vaccinated U.S. travelers will be allowed to visit Europe again, starting this summer. So that was pretty neat. I've got the little tiny article about it. It's not terribly important. It's pretty much just because there was a little travel ban on Americans. And I think actually lots of bans on travel in general. But Europe's going to be opening up to vaccinated Americans.
Well,
but if you're not vaccinated, you can't go.
Sorry.
And then I found another cool thing that maybe we should talk about after what you were going to say. But along the lines of proof of vaccination or proof of negative COVID test. Because they are developing now, as we've discussed a little bit on this show, and as we've discussed, some people find these very controversial. I do find them a little bit weird, but also I like this idea. I looked up all of the different apps you can have for proving that you're vaccinated, because there's a lot of talk now about, okay, well, if you want to go to this restaurant, you're going to have to show proof of vaccination, and then you can hang out unmasked with other vaccinated people. And then I hear a lot of like, that's not fair, or they can't do that. I'm kind of going to say like private businesses can.
Yeah.
But I know last week we talked a little bit off mic about trying to get the New York State app. And I went to get it today. I guess I could download it, but I've got to be 2 weeks out from my first shot in order
I was going to do that too, but I wasn't sure
when
I could do it. So now I know.
And so I'm only... Well, after finding this article, I wanted to, pull it up, see if I could get it like up and running on my phone, but it was very clear that no, hold your horses. You've got another 8 days, then you can do it. But it's kind of neat. So I have a few little tidbits about it. And this is from the New York Times. A look at COVID ages wannabe platinum cards and apps, because they're likening this proof of vaccination to like, you flash your card, you get access to places. And I do honestly think that there is going to be a lot of that, and I'm ready. I'd also like to have something on my phone instead of having to take just
this is
piece of
slightly
everywhere.
personal, but so when I was walking out of the thing, I had my little card when I was getting, after I got my second shot, I was walking into the thing, and I didn't have any pockets for some reason. I think because I wanted to have like I had like a short sleeve, and I just didn't bring in a lot of stuff because I just wanted to be able to like get the shot and go. So I didn't have pockets, except I had jeans, but the jeans were a little tight, so I didn't want to stick the thing in the jeans and then either sit on the thing or have I just wanted to keep the card pristine, so I sort of stuck it in my armpit, and then I went into the bathroom and just to pee on the way out, and I was like, and I panicked for a second. I was like, oh my God, what if I dropped this thing in the toilet right now? What if I immediately dropped this in the toilet like 5 seconds later? So yeah, to your point,
I know
if you're like me and you drop things in the toilet pretty much nonstop, having a thing on your phone, which is usually at least slightly water and pee resistant, is not a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because if I can avoid carrying all of the pieces of paper that can't be replaced, I like to do that, But so the New York one is called Excelsior Pass. And in this article, there were all these like just little blurbs about what this pass will and will not do for you. And so the first one is, could it get you an indoor table? Yes. Could it get you entry to a concert or sports game? That too. And then there's a little bit of information about it. Apparently the state's been requiring government employees to use it. And it is up to businesses and private organizations to decide whether they want to require the pass. But so far, the system's been used at restaurants, weddings, Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center, and Yankee Stadium, according to Eric Piscini, Vice President of Emerging Business Networks at IBM Watson Health, which designed it. And there's a little bit about how it works, which is just, it's a QR code that can be scanned. And if you're vaccinated, it glows green, or if you've recently had a negative COVID test. And if you're not, then it's red. And that's, I think, really about it on that. Yeah. Okay. So a negative PCR test within 3 days, or the negative antigen test, which is the rapid test within the past 6 hours. But the one challenge is that only the people who've been vaccinated or tested in New York State can use it. So if you're in a different state,
I'm trying not to think too far ahead. I mean, I am perfectly happy to let anyone know that I've been vaccinated. And I mean, if I've been vaccinated, which I should be vaccinated, I have no issue whatsoever. And I'm completely sympathetic and understanding to businesses who want to know if you've been vaccinated before letting you run wild in their establishment.
Yes.
But
yes.
And I think
I'm all for it. If I want to go to like a show or something, and along with my ID, I have to let the person working the door do a little QR code scan on the vaccine tracker. That's great.
It lets me know that
I'm all for the public safety, And I don't want to be, fair or not, I don't really want to be around.
Right. Yeah. No, well, that's just it. It maybe the tiny inconvenience for me of having to show something that says that I'm vaccinated lets me know that everybody else in there is vaccinated, and I don't have to worry about that. Again, these,
it's going to make me feel
when you've been vaccinated,
better.
The safety level is very high for you, but it's not zero. It's not, your chance of getting COVID is still not zero at that point. But if you've been vaccinated and everybody else has been vaccinated, then it's pretty darn much zero at that point. You know what I mean? It's pretty darn close. There's no, there's no guarantees in life, Heather. You take your chances with anything. I could slip in the shower and fall on COVID, but fall on some COVID and drop some COVID in my mouth, and then who knows what could
Yeah.
happen. I don't know what goes on in my shower. It's crazy in there. But yeah, no, I'm all for it. The thing I was going to point out, speaking of this, is I just thought this was a good news story. The Navajo Nation, a lot of the American Indian tribes and regions have been particularly hard hit by COVID. Again, a lot of times very often these are areas that have been struggling economically. I can't imagine why. I can't imagine what in the history of indigenous Americans would cause that to be the case. But the Navajo Nation, again, is yet another good news story lately in terms of vaccination. So the Navajo Nation was well behind. The Navajo Nation wasn't well behind on vaccination, but once had I believe the highest, not just one of the highest, but the highest per capita infection rate in the country. So this is talking about 300,000 people, about half of which live on the Navajo reservation, which covers Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. I mean, parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, obviously. As of just the other day, now 87.8% of the eligible population have received. So that's 8 out of 10 people, which again is at this point anyone over. Depending on, I think this is basically adults are eligible even in these areas as well. So 87.8% of the eligible.
Yeah, I think, isn't it 16
for the most part,
and
but
over,
again,
pretty much all over the U.S.
For tribal areas, I'm not sure if that's different. So 87.8% of the eligible population had received at least one dose. Close to 40% have been fully vaccinated. That's as of this past weekend. So compared to the nation overall, 42.2% of the U.S. So I guess this is a good news, bad news story, like all of our stories, really. 42.2% of the overall U.S. population has received one dose. So the Navajo Nation is currently double the U.S. rate of getting that first shot. So, which is good. I mean, excellent. And again, a region that was particularly hard hit by COVID, by COVID to begin with. So a little bit of positive news there. You know what else about COVID is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
Just one more thing about. Oh, I was going to say one more thing about the apps. There's also a question addressed in this article. Is there ever going to be a federal database of who's been vaccinated so that, for example, we could just travel from state to state with one app, like the U.S. government app, to show our vaccine protection? The answer is no.
I cannot see that. I think there would be way too much resistance to that for all sorts of reasons.
Yep. Yeah. New York has promoted this Excelsior as the way to open the state safely and quickly. And so that's why there's the big push to use it in New York so that vaccinated people can go to businesses in their towns.
I think New York has been one of the leaders on that. I mean, I don't know of any reason why, for New Yorkers, I don't know if there's any reason why other states couldn't make use of that ability to track that and say, oh, you've got the Excelsior pass. You're from New York. You're in Utah or whatever. Okay, right. That's fine. That's perfectly legit. You've been a leader in the nation on that. So hopefully, being with a New Yorker has perks. Being with a New Yorker has perks, and being a New Yorker has perks. Yeah.
Yeah. That too. Because it's, from what I understand, it's just a QR code. So I don't see why somebody couldn't read that in New York.
And hopefully we'll get to the point. I'd love to, like I said, we're reaching that hill of vaccine hesitancy. We'll call it hesitancy optimistically and hope that it's just hesitation and not refusal. But, we're reaching that hill of vaccine hesitancy. But, it'd be nice if we get to the point where so many people are vaccinated, it becomes almost a non-issue. You know what I mean? If it gets to the point where, oh, well, so-and-so didn't have his phone up and maybe he didn't get vaccine. Well, if you're at the point where, 999 people in the auditorium have have been vaccinated, but there's one guy who refuses, it's not going to matter. If 50% of the people in the auditorium have decided they don't want to get the vaccine, that matters a lot. So
right. That matters a whole lot. Yeah. And that's, like I said, and really don't have me on that. I'm also allowed to have my own feelings. I don't want to be around people who
I mean, it's just
could be vaccinated but aren't.
At this point, I mean, there's no the data coming through, the data coming back about these vaccines, both anecdotally and in terms of mass global. I mean, these vaccines are all, to different degrees, are being rolled out globally. There's a lot of data at this point, and it's all coming back positively. Again, there are, like with anything, there are risks. The risks with these vaccines they've been shrinking. Honestly, I mean, from the data that's coming back, they've been, you start out with sort of a broad, like, well, there are things we're less certain about, so we say there's this much of a risk. The data that's coming back has not expanded on the risks. It said, oh, it's actually even less than we thought. So,
Right.
Yep.
And as far as I understand, so many of the things where it was like, oh, well, we don't know if it's going to do this. We're hopeful, but we really don't know, and we won't know. Yep. Now we start knowing, like will it protect against variants? And then there's a new variant, like, will it protect against that one? The answer is yes. I mean, you're right. Of course, a variant could develop that the vaccine doesn't prevent against. That's not unheard of. But so far, all of the scary new variants we've heard, there's a lot of people going like, oh no, does the vaccine work against those? And then
we're going to be able to get back to, so like on TV shows, this is another thing. On TV shows, they're not going to have people awkwardly standing. Have you noticed this with TV shows that have been filmed that are coming out like recently? You get people like, if they're not, I mean, a couple shows are acknowledging that COVID exists and they're just running with that. But others are like, oh, hello, friend. COVID's not a thing that we're talking about. I'm going to stand over here and you're going to stand over here. And this crowd scene is just going to be sort of stock footage from a long time ago. I've seen shows with like crowd shots where it would normally be like, something's happening and people are like running in the streets. But it's like people died, because I think a lot of the shows, like with the main casts, they'll sort of do testing and quarantine together, and it's fine. So the main cast can hang out. But then you'll see crowd shots where people are very carefully spaced apart, like running randomly and wildly down the street. I heard with, I think it's EastEnders, one of the British, it's either Coronation Street or EastEnders, one of those British soap operas. They were using a couple like kissing stunt doubles so that the actors wouldn't have to kiss. So they do like, they'd find couples that were actual couples that sort of resembled the actors from behind or whatever, so that they could kiss. And then the two unrelated actors.
Oh my gosh.
Kiss. So all sorts of strategies. I'm saying
that's nice. That's thoughtful. Yeah, definitely. The new season of Nailed It just came out, and it was funny because Nicole Byer, like, she used to, go and hand things to people and stuff, and she just sat at the judge's desk, and she didn't say because of COVID, but she's like, "Go on, get it yourself. I don't do it anymore." Like, she's just yelling.
Well, that's
and
it.
It's because COVID,
especially
but it was just
especially
funny
with something like that where
she was playing along with that.
You're not gonna, for people that are in for the day, you can, and for something reasonably, you're only going to do so much. You're not going to like you're not going to quarantine people for 2 weeks and then test them nonstop and then make sure they're vaccinated and have them come in for the day just so you can like hand them a thing. It's just not worth it. I was up late. I was up late. I was up late last night watching the Oscars, which of course was a whole other world. I mean,
That's right.
It's It's fascinating. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating time capsule at some point because traditionally it's like in the giant like 5,000 seat theater, and they had it. So I mean, this sounds more ridiculous than it is, but they had it literally at the train station, which is a lovely Los Angeles Union Station. The transport hub is lovely, and it has this like space where they could seat like 100 people. So it was just the nominees. And again, they were all sort of like vaccinated and tested and blah, 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 blah. But it's a whole different like to see like it's sort of a dinner show. It was like a dinner show almost. Like there was a little stage and a thing, and it's just a whole.
Right.
I sort of loved it just because it was. It was just a fascinating sign of the times, and also, I don't know. I thought it was sort of more intimate. Like it was something I could have gotten invited to, which is ridiculous because obviously the thing in the 5,000 seats. If I'm going to get invited, obviously the thing that seats 5,000, I probably have a better shot of than the thing that seats 100. But you see an intimate little dinner thing, and you think, oh, I could. This looks very fun and casual. I could do that. So that was my night. But COVID is the point. It's wild.
Yeah, another thing that was most definitely different because of COVID was the series finale of season 13.
Sort of, but not as different as last
Race.
season.
No,
Yeah.
not as different as last season where they did it all on Zoom. Which I've got to say, that show has been doing an awful lot to bring entertainment to us during this entire pandemic. And I've got to say, I super duper appreciate it. Like, not that anyone from there is listening, but wow, it just doesn't stop coming. Like, Australia starts on Friday. Shortly thereafter, we've apparently got Drag Race España.
So did you see, by 13. The way, so we'll get back to this is the all over the place episode. Like every episode. I mean, really, when are they not? So I wondered about this. I wondered about people who were not Paramount Plus type people. I did not hear a big outroar about this online, and I was sort of curious because I was seeing ads when I saw ads during the finale, and we're going to talk about the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race. So if you're going to be spoiled by that, we'll give you a little warning. But I guess the new season of All Stars is going to be exclusive to the Paramount Plus streaming service, and I don't know if people are mad about that.
Oh no.
Are any of them?
It's not going to be.
I thought you said they were generally not, or am I wrong about that?
I guess, you're right. The US one, I had to buy that off of big box media.
Welcome
I don't want
to
another app.
2021.
Apps.
You just have a lot of apps.
Oh, how annoying.
You can watch other things on it. They've got
yes.
Old Cheers. I don't
too
know what
many.
else is on there. I have it for the start.
Wait, do they have Lip Sync Battle? Is that where Lip Sync Battle airs?
I just have it for Paramount? I just have it for the Star Treks.
That's a
so
fun show.
You'll have all the Star Treks. It's probably, honestly, I mean, if you
Star Treks are good.
I've sort of gotten over being annoyed about the extra apps. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna have a million apps. So I get where you're coming from on that. It's probably cheaper, honestly, to have Paramount Plus for even a month or two than probably buying a season of the show. So you're probably just fine.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if I'll still be able to.
I thought people would be screaming about that. And I have not.
Honestly,
I've not seen a lot of.
It's not that much
caterwauling. You don't seem that concerned.
Well, maybe I'll scream about it.
You don't seem that alarmed, honestly.
Okay, ready. I'll
caterwaul. I never know what people are going to be mad about.
No, I don't.
I thought for sure people would be mad about this one, and everybody's like, no, whatever. And you're like, well, whatever. I'll figure it out. Who cares? Because I feel like
I don't know. Maybe people are.
I feel like
tired.
they talked about moving one of the Drag Race seasons from like, or when they moved from like Logo to VH1 or whatever. I feel like everybody was screaming, even though I feel like everybody who, if you have Logo, you had VH1, so it didn't really matter. But I don't know. I feel like people get worked up about Drag Race.
Yeah, they do. I guess, the Australia and the Spain one should be on the World of Wonder
I think that's
app.
the only place you can get those.
Because that's where I've seen like UK and Holland and all that.
So
yeah. So I'll be watching those over there, but now I guess I've got to get
watch all the Star Treks.
Boy, oh boy.
No.
I can, but I'm so busy watching The Circle. I
Aren't
started
they
on
like 6
season
episodes
2.
long?
Now I have to go back to season 1
Aren't they
when I'm
like 6
done.
20-minute episodes long? Yeah. I think you'll make it.
I have no idea. No, they're
Okay,
like,
that's too long.
the episodes are like 55 minutes long.
That's way too long.
Yeah.
I don't
No, it's great. It's the perfect amount of time to work out.
You can't work out for that little amount of time,
while you watch
Heather.
TV.
Stop being ridiculous. 55 minutes. I'm barely warmed up at that point. You're ridiculous. So, we're going to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. We're going to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race.
I bought myself a rowing machine.
What'd you think?
Yes. I thought it was great. I thought they did a really nice job with the stage show and the recaps and like the 3 runway looks. I thought that the drive-in thing, even though I will confess to you, it made me profoundly sad. I thought that was a really nice outdoor event.
I don't know. I'm sort of getting used to things just not having huge audiences, and it's definitely a weird, different energy. But I've gotten sort of used to it, or maybe shows have just gotten better at obfuscating it, so you don't notice or you don't care as much. I don't know. It's definitely a weird, different energy. I mean, because on some level you think, well, I'm watching this at home on my TV, so it's weird that I sort of even care how many people are sitting there watching it. You know what I mean? Like in the place, because it really, in one sense, I mean, it really should make no difference whatsoever how many, whether there's one person sitting there watching it or 8,000, because I'm watching it home on TV, so just show me what I want to see anyway. But it definitely futzes with the energy of the performers and stuff.
It really does. Yeah, and I wonder how much even seeing the crowd makes you kind of think, oh, if I were in LA, I would so be there.
Just like I'm going to the Oscars.
You know, that kind of thing. Just like you were at the Oscars, yeah. Your very intimate dinner theater Oscars.
Yeah, me too.
I was incredibly
do you think there was ever any? We're going to reveal the winner soon, I bet. So just prepare yourselves if you're not ready. Do you think there was ever any chance that it would be anyone different?
In my mind, no. But Drag Race is not necessarily known for doing what I think they should do.
Yeah.
And but from the jump, they've been like that.
I don't know. It felt like with this, not in a bad way. I mean, it felt like a foregone conclusion for kind of a long time. And then there was no question in my mind that, you had things could change. But, early on you were sort of like, wow, this person who won, who is named Simone, let's just say it. So spoiler alert.
Simone won. I'm so pleased. Well, and last week we were both saying that we wanted Simone to win. So I was really excited. I think they kept trying to redirect.
Yeah.
And be like,
well, and I think it is like you said, really though, because I think you were saying this last time. So it does sort of seem like, in terms of where the storylines are, Simone seemed to come to a kind of conclusion, whereas Gottmix was a little more open-ended. Like, oh, you're really growing. You got a lot, you've come such a long way and you're really good energy and blah, blah. It did feel a little more like, oh, well, you'll come back and do something else. And, versus Simone, like, and Simone didn't, for all of Simone's, strengths as a performer, I feel like Simone never had a particularly strong, like, she was just neither dramatic enough nor, in terms of interactions, I feel like she kind of got along with everybody just fine and didn't have a ton of, certainly compared to some of the other people, didn't seem to have a ton of life drama, like not more than, not such that it came up every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right. And she didn't fight a lot. And then, like, I don't want to say she didn't have any kind of like growth or progress during the show, but she came in at this level that was just so exceptional. Like, and every look she wore, like, Oh, she did get that one bad critique for like not dancing well during that challenge.
Yeah.
But her looks were always flawless. And even that, I think the editing was kind of done because she couldn't just be perfect for the entire show, because that would, like, it's a reality show. They've got to do some editing to make it a reality show.
I'm very happy. And I loved, I mean, I think it was a very strong season. I think it was a very strong top 4. I'd like to say that I would be just as happy if Got Mick won, but I wouldn't be quite just as happy. But I think in another season, in a different season,
I really wanted Simone.
I think Got Mick would have been that, like,
yes.
And again, had that thing that we sort of like, that you always want in these reality show characters, as in terms of like how they're presented as opposed to, the people they actually are, had that sort of storyline, that growth storyline. So I think in a different season without Simone, Got Mick would have been, been a really straightforward win. But I think, again, like we've said too, I think sometimes you almost don't want to be the winner. I think like someone like Mick is a very easy candidate for like, All Stars, blah blah blah, come back another time and do more stuff. Whereas again, Simone with the victory and could easily, I'm sure, come back for All Stars or whatever. But it's that little more of like this is not the conclusion of your story, but this is you've sort of reached the height. Now go off and do the live shows, and then we'll see you next year when you bring back the crown. You know what I mean? So it's not always, winning is not always, in some ways you'd almost rather be in Got Mick's position of coming in second, but having people feeling like there's more to see from you.
Yeah, definitely. And I do hope we see Simone doing everything all over the place. I know I follow her on Instagram now, so I'm very excited about that. Speaking of former queens who were reigning,
I don't know
see Jada again.
I guess I don't know if she got cheated at all, or I don't know. I mean, because she had ended last season. The finale last season was which I thought was very well put together. The doing the productions from their living rooms, basically, because it was sort of a not last minute, but I mean, it was I think there was a lot less time to prepare for like, how do we do a show where we can't interact with each other? And there wasn't that.
Yes. Yep.
Right. And there were the safety protocols and the things that shows and movies are using to sort of get back into production. None of that existed. Nobody knew. So, she sort of came in from her living room and and then, ended in the parking lot, I guess. I don't know if I mean, I don't know if I should feel bad. Like,
I do feel bad, because normally there would be like all the huge celebrations, there would be the tours, but that didn't happen. I hope that will happen, and I'm as confident as I can be that when those happen, Jada and everybody from season 12 who did kind of miss out will be included. Everybody who wants to.
You were COVID year. Forget it. Bye.
Right, like nobody knows who you are. It's no, we were all at home watching.
I think, and I have no doubt she's made the best of it, and will continue to do so. But I feel like of probably of all the winners all the years, I feel like Jada's probably the one who got the shortest end of the stick in terms of that goes. Because I mean, even this year, like, okay, we're sort of coming out of COVID, stuff's opening up again. These. In a way, I mean, the queens of this season had sort of a lucky, as opposed to being like, especially if you're a drag queen, for example, trapped in your apartment, you're doing Instagram videos and trying to just do anything to scrape, to keep interest up and get by, because you can't do the live shows. Here were people who were working, getting paid, recorded on TV, and now it's ending, and it's sort of, hopefully we're coming to a point where they're going to be able to do performances and shows again. So I think this season, in a way,
right,
probably lucked out in a sense.
Oh, I think they did. I mean, Gottmik was the clearest about it, who kept on saying, like, I'm not going home. I live in the workroom now. This is great.
Yeah.
This has been the best. I am so
that would be another
happy,
reason.
And I'm having a great time.
I'm sure you never want to go home. But that would be certainly another reason why I would be like, no, really, I don't want to go home. Please don't send me home, because, and if can I just like live here at night and hang out?
Right.
I'll just go away when the camera's on. Let me know.
Right. Well, and also with so many people not being able to see anyone,
right.
My understanding is they were all quarantined together, and that's why they could all like gather around the table and eat meals together and everything.
That's it. They had a big group of people that they could interact with, that they were allowed to interact with.
I know, which I have not been around a big group in a long time.
I know.
Or at least not in real life. Well, unless you count my fellow shoppers at the store, but not really.
Yeah, you never liked them anyway.
Still skittering away from them. I'm not going to stop that. That's the thing. I'm going to keep skittering. Next week, I'm fully vaccinated.
Well, listen, this has been our whatever we got going on show. Did you have anything else? I don't want to cut you off. I just feel like it's time to go. Don't you? Don't you feel like it's been enough?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people think it's probably time for us to go. No, I didn't have anything else other than like, I am super psyched about Drag Race. Some people tend to get, like, they complain. They're like, oh no, there's going to be All-Stars and then Australia and then Spain. They need to stop. I just need a break.
I agree. I've not gotten sick of it. I'm not a huge overall reality show person. I got really into Survivor for like several years, and I was like, I will never not love Survivor. I will never not be obsessed with Survivor. And then I just got over Survivor. Like I was like, and I don't ever need to watch Survivor again. And that has not happened with RuPaul's Drag Race, so I'm fine with it. If they keep, and it's the kind of show too where it works for me, because I can like kind of do other stuff while I'm watching. Like when people are sitting around chatting, I can like yeah.
Worked out, right?
And but I can sort of be doing other stuff while I'm watching. So it's just, to me, it doesn't even like take up any time. It's just sort of, it's something I can put on while I'm doing other stuff, and it's fine. So I don't know. Yeah. Keep them coming.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely. I'm apparently a reality show person now.
Sure.
I've dabbled in top model, things like that. But yeah, gotta say, me watching The Circle, weird. They totally got me, because you know how Netflix plays those videos when you switch it on? All the apartments are beautifully decorated. And for some reason, I was like, oh, look at all those colors. I'd like to see these rooms. Yeah. I need to check out this show.
I hear you.
Now they got me. I also really like to see what the people are cooking in there.
Well, I will have to check out The Circle. When I'm not watching.
It's so weird.
The next Star Trek. There's no Star Treks on right now.
Star Trek. Drag Race.
That's true.
Oh no, you can watch the reruns.
Right, you know what
right.
There is
There's
to listen to.
Watch.
You know the answer to this.
Ross, is it that fantastic program, Music Matters, right here on WAYO?
You looked at me in terror like you had no
FM?
idea what was coming up now. Like what? Listen to what? I don't understand. Music Matters. Yes. And then please join us next week where we got more nonsense. Stuff and nonsense. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I really texted like that. I'm all full paragraphs and
I know, me too. I'm just like that.
Boring. But we don't have to be. Just a sec.
Your
Lemniscate.
phone actually answers to lemniscate?
Response. Oh, yeah, yours too. And like everyone's within the greater Rochester area. Actually, I made a little visit to the Space Bridge and set up a SATCOM that beams to our phones just for funsies. Lemniscate. Response. Hashtag smile. Driving, thieving, thriving, living, living, heaving, kniving. Lemniscate. Strong. Believe. Basketball. Avocado. Palm tree. Caterpillar. Trident.
Okay, lemniscate. Response. Oh, it worked. You are good. Geodesic dome plus sign 100 winky cat strong arm safety vest panic button ice skate. Deliver. Right?
No words even. You are a natural. And that's so sweet. Geodesic dome plus sign 100 winky cat strong arm safety vest panic button ice skate back at you.
Denzel Washington. The only other one I know. Boop.
GIF.